Hello, this is Joseph Fiala with the Light Clinic, and today we're going to be doing a Qigong practice called rolling the ball. Okay, so to start rolling the ball, first we want to work on our stance. Rolling the ball is one of those fundamental practices that is really good for twisting and massaging and opening up the abdomen. Especially the low back too, hips, really good for the hips. But this whole core, it's going to engage the core, strengthen it, but also relax things in a way where you're massaging the organs. So it's really good for your bowel motility, it's really good for your digestive harmony, but good for kidneys, bladder, reproductive organs, hips, good for a lot of things. It'll be great. So rolling the ball is a nice exercise where we're going to go kind of back and forth, but we want to start with our feet to make sure we have a good foundation. You want to just be careful that we don't do any tweaking on the knees. That's one of the important things to do here. So as we do go back and forth, we want the knees to be sort of in place. So a good stance is going to be about shoulder width. You're going to sit down into it a little bit. So when you sit down into it, you just bend your knees so that you sit. Go wherever is comfortable. If this is too much, then you just back it off. We want to feel relaxed. We want to feel easy. We don't want to be making anything too hard. The big thing is you want to feel like your knees are right over your feet, which means that they kind of have to push out. But you're not pushing out your knees. You're not pushing out the knees. You're pushing out the hips. You're just opening your hips. So as you sit down, you open your hips, and that naturally puts your knees out over your feet. So don't feel like you need to torque your knees or do anything to get them out there. Just open your hips, and your knees should line up right over the feet. And then as you turn, what we want to be careful of is what we call collapsing knees. We want to be really careful we don't collapse our knees. So as we turn, this is collapsed knee. See, it's falling in. If someone were to fall on you or put their weight right there, it would be very bad for the knee. So as we turn, we actually want to keep the knee like it is. So you can turn your hip this way, and the knee stays there. You can turn the hip this way, the knee stays there. We're not going to collapse. This is a mistake because this doesn't just put pressure on your knee, it puts pressure on your ankle, your hip, your low back. It throws everything out of whack. So we got to keep it open like this. So you're turning your hips, you're feeling opening in your hips, but your knees can stay mostly going forward. The knees bend, right? They go forward and back, forward and back. They don't like to rotate. Hips, they've got that ball and socket, they can rotate. So it's okay to rotate with the hips, but knees, you don't want to rotate them. It's not very good. So as we're rolling the ball, we'll be going back and forth a little bit like this, and I just want you to be careful of your knees. Just watch out and make sure you're actually focusing on your hips opening. So that's where I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it in the groove, in the front of your hips. I want you to feel it on the back of your hips and in the glutes, but not in the knees. If you're feeling it in the knees, narrow your stance a little bit, or even bring your legs together so your knees can't bend, and just focus on the hips here. For the upper body, rolling the ball starts like that. We're going to visualize a ball in between our two palms. So sit down into your stance. Bring your two palms in front of your dantian, your lower dantian, about a hand width below your belly button. The two hands come together. And visualize as if you're holding something about the size of a basketball. And you're just holding that there. Feel how your hands feel. They should be open and curved. The hands should have curves to them. So we're not doing straight. That's not a ball, right? We're doing nice curved. Fingers are open too. This isn't as strong as this. Here you've got space so all the blood can move. Here you're starting to compress blood in your hands. You're squeezing a little bit and you're starting to not let the blood come into your fingers. You'll get a lot more effect if you keep your hands open, as if you have cotton balls in between the different fingers in there. So bring those big hands, like bear paws, bring those big hands together, sink down, and compress a ball. And feel as you push it in, there's going to be a resistance point. And you help create that in your visualization, a resistance point as you compress it. And then it compresses and it wants to push out against your hands, and you allow the ball to expand. Now the ball is expanding, almost as if you're kneading dough and you're starting to pull out on the dough, but the dough is coming with you. It's just gooey big expansion. Then sink and compress. Allow the ball to expand. Sink and compress. And as you're sinking, you're sitting down into your stance. Sitting down into it. Then allow the ball to expand. And it also brings you up in your stance. You rise a little bit. Sink and compress. Ball expands and you expand. Sink and compress. Expand. Now we're going to start to take some control over this ball. We're going to start to play with rolling the ball a little bit. So now we've got a bit of a ball formed, which is it's a combination of our own intent with our own ability to kind of allow the ball to be. So that means that we're allowing ourselves to feel and interact with that feeling communication of the ball. So we're intending and we're compressing. And then we're feeling it and we're allowing ourselves to be responsive to what it feels like. It's growing, so we allow ourselves to respond to that. Okay, so this time as we come in, we're going to swoop the right hand under and the left hand on top. And we sink. So we've just rolled this ball. And as we float back up, we're going to rotate the ball. At our highest point in our stance, it's about hands 50-50, level with each other. And then sink down, compressing the ball, switching the top hand. Good. Open, roll the ball. Again, nice big curves in your hands, in your wrists, in your elbows. Sink, compress the ball. Good. Press the feet. Open and roll. Good. Sink. Okay, find that inner smile now. You can let go in the exercise a little bit. We're going to do this a few times. So you can just relax into it. Sinking as we compress. Never stopping our movement. Just transitioning from one to the other. Good. Sinking. Trying to stay very upright in our upper body. So see if you're leaning forward or back and try to find an upright place. And then we're just going up and down with the legs. Nice and big. Armpits should be open, so the arms should be out away from the torso. Elbows open, wrists open, everything open. Nice big curves. Look at all this space here. Lots of space. Nice big curves out in front of you. Just rolling that ball and sinking. Your legs should start getting a workout at some point here, which is good. You just relax into it. Don't fight it. The more that your legs start to burn, the more you start to just relax and allow it. If they're not burning, then stay in the deeper part for a little bit and try to relax. Let's do that for a moment. Just stay here, relax, letting the weight of your skeletal system hold you up. Relaxing your thighs. Good. And coming up. Rotating. Okay, the one additional thing we're going to add in here is what we were prepping you for at the beginning with the knees, is we're going to add a little bit of rotation. So this time as we sink, if our right hand's on top, we're going to spin as we sink to the right. Again, watch that left knee. That's the one that's going to want to come in on you. Got to keep it out. Just feel it in the hips instead. Then come back center. Here's your ball. Left hand's on top. Sink and spin to the left. Right knee should point forward. We're opening the hip and low back and the core, but not putting strain on the knees. Does that seem important yet? Good. Sink and rotate. Good. You can look that direction over your hand, or you can keep looking forward if that's more comfortable. Sink and rotate, letting go into this exercise, allowing the flow to occur, allowing that flow to move through you and to translate into this movement, speeding up just a little bit so you can feel the flow of it. Up, center, sink, and spin. Up, center, sink, spin. Relax. Find your inner smile, like you're smiling on the inside. You're telling your body everything's okay. So when you start to feel a little sweat, or when you start to feel a little strain, it's not strenuous, it's easy. That's a good thing. We call that activation. It doesn't mean you're doing too much. It means you're activating. We need to activate every day. Okay, let's do one more to this side. Coming back center. Again, compress the ball, sink facing forward. Expand the ball, compress. Expand, compress. Right foot comes into the left. Take that ball, you can rotate it, and then bring that up over the top of our head. And bring the ball through the top of your head, down through the top of your head, gently pushing it down, guiding it through the neck and shoulders, through the center of your body, through the center of your torso, all the way down to your lower belly, to that lower dantian. We'll place our hands there. And take a few deep breaths, feeling the lower abdomen gently rising and falling underneath the palms. And wait for a little feeling of warmth under those palms, signaling the chi has returned. We want it to return home. We mobilize our energy, we mobilize our chi, move through our body, and then we return it home to the lower belly. Source of our great inner power. Good. Gently, like you're pulling two strings to cinch the bag closed, making the intention to keep this energy inside in that lower dantian, pulling up gently on the perineum. Then one finger at a time, release the seal and let your body move. And that's your rolling the ball. Thank you for joining me. Please be sure to subscribe so you can never miss any of these videos. We'll keep doing it. Okay, take care.